Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 277 of the Drugcasters podcast. I'm your host, as always, I'm Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Tyler, I am fantastic. I'm doing pretty good so far this weekend. Man, a lot of stuff has happened to me since our E3 recording, but let's just say I've bought a whole bunch of games, I've played a whole bunch of games, and I've actually finished an old classic that I hadn't played in roughly, I would say, 5 years, so I'm good. How about you?
Spoiler, it's Glover. He won't tell me, but I know it's Glover.
It's not Glover.
He gets really upset when you accuse him of that. I'm doing alright. It's been about a week and a half since we recorded. Doesn't feel like it. It feels like we, in some ways it feels like it's been a long time, but in some ways it feels like that flew by very quickly.
Yeah.
That break after the E3 marathon for us, 9 podcasts in 4 days. I even had to get more room on our Libsyn account to keep recording this month.
Oh, God.
So, we basically went through an entire month's worth of podcast fees in just 4 days there. So,
yep.
But worth it. It was fun to do, and appreciate everybody for listening, downloading, and all that. But now we're back, normal show for the first time in a couple weeks. E3 is behind us. Now we're on to everything else is going on. So this week, for news-wise, we'll do video games first, but for news-wise, it's a lot of the stuff is going to be kind of like little things that kind of more details and some of the stuff that was announced at E3, or some things that kind of slipped through the cracks, or kind of wasn't the big stuff that came out of E3, because usually, as what happens after E3, is it's kind of a wasteland for a little bit as far as news goes. But luckily not games, because I've got a couple. Gables has played a few.
Yep.
So why don't we jump onto that? Gables, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first this time around.
All
right, so for the past couple weeks, I've been having this inkling that I wanted to play some retro games. And so, in hindsight, I started to investigate how I would get the best quality in terms of playing my retro gaming systems on my HD television. Now, there are various ways you can do so. I mean, some purists go for the CRT TV route, which I've done, honestly. However, I decided to investigate a little further, and I found out there are actually converters that, if you plug them in, like, say, the AV stuff to a converter and then the output being the HDMI, that it would actually display the image, at least try to upscale the image to about 720p or 1080p, whatever. So I bought one of those for about $35 at Walmart, like about a week or two ago. I tested them out, and so far, for the 64 games that I've been playing, it seems to work really nicely. I like the aspect where there's not any like input delay. The sound is actually pretty well. I think it's like in a stereo sort of sound in terms of the quality. Graphic-wise, it's kind of hit and miss though, but at the same point, there is a lot more light being presented to the image present on my HD television, so it's like I can actually see a lot of the images of it. I mean, granted, they're early in 64 games, so the sprites and the other 3D models and stuff that you would be playing, looking at and stuff, yeah, they're not as visually appealing as they were back, say, around 20 or like 22 years ago or whatever. But regardless of which, I tried out a bunch of different games for it. I tried out Mario 64, tried out Banjo-Kazooie, tried out, like, what was it? I just tried out some bits of platforming games, but there was a game that I had bought at a pawn shop just a couple weeks ago, and this game I hadn't played in roughly, I would say, close to about, 3 to 5 years max, and it's an old game that I used to play all the time on the 64. So I decided to invest in WCW NWO Revenge.
Oh, Jesus.
For the 64.
Okay.
I paid only $3 for this thing, but I wanted to go back and see if my nostalgia values of the game are actually left intact, So when I started the game, I wanted to go through the championship mode. So they're separated into They're separated into all the major titles for WCW at the time. You have the Cruiserweight Championship, the TV Championship, you have the Tag Team titles, the United States Heavyweight Championship, and last but not least, the World Heavyweight Championship. So I decided upon each of those divisions, those like subsidiary things in the single player, that I wanted to have a couple of different wrestlers for each of them. So I decided to make things a little bit more challenging for me. Let's see. For the TV title, I went with a wrestler that was created, I think, by the Aki Corporation that was creating the game to begin with. I went with a wrestler by the name of Hanzamon, which quintessentially, he is a ninja that has various submissions and is very quick on his feet. And the thing about some of the wrestlers, that if you do their strong grapples, hold the A button and then do like the B moves or something like that, they don't have like separate moves. They actually have like striking moves and stuff that could be countered and all this other stuff. So I went with him. I got the TV championship. When I went into, say, the tag team championships, however, that started to get a little bit more difficult, because here I am, I'm controlling two wrestlers, and facing off against the different teams that they had at the time, like some of the best tag teams for like that era and stuff. Like, you got the Outsiders, you got freaking Sting and Luger, you got this and that. But I decided to do a little bit tougher still, and I went with La Parka and Psychosis. Two luchadors and stuff from WCW lore.
A lot of steel chairs involved.
Oh my god, yeah, that's what's funny about it. Inside of WCW NWO Revenge, there are some wrestlers that carry weapons to the ring, and they use them in the middle of the match. And two wrestlers that have such weapons are Sting and La Parka. Now, La Parka, you can literally, well, at the start of the match, you can attack your opponent with the chair repeatedly. And so, how I whittled down my opponents, granted, this is on normal difficulty. It's not set on easy or whatsoever. I was taking so much time going through and just beating the crap out of people with a steel chair. That's how I won some matches. But because of the AI and because of how long some matches were getting, I had to literally go through and just do like count out victories so I can just rush it along and come all the way through. And that's just the thing. One of the things I noticed the most while I was playing through the game again was how long it would take for matches to get like finished. Because even if you whittle down your opponent sometimes to the least amount of spirit that they have for their meter, you hit a finishing move and you try to pin them, they'll still kick out at 2. This happened like so many times during my replay through of this game. Okay, so for the Cruiserweight Championship, I decided to go with a obscure wrestler that hardly anybody probably knows today. It's called Dean Malenko. Now, the thing about Dean Malenko, he was known as the Iceman back in WCW. He was trained by his father, Boris Malenko, and stuff like that, but he was known for a couple things. One, his prowess as a technical wrestler, the man who knows over 1,000 holds, which, of course, inside the reference of this podcast, the whole inside thing of like Chris Jericho and stuff, the whole man of 1,004 holds.
That's 4 more.
That's 4 more.
Armbar.
Armbar. Arm drag. Anyway. With him, it was a fun time going through the Cruiserweight Championship stuff, because I kept on attacking, like scoop slamming people and then just getting them the Texas Cloverleaf.
There you go.
The funniest part is the best wrestlers inside that game. I mean, yeah, you can go through and like have strikers and like grapplers and stuff, but it's so broken when you go through as like a submission specialist and just steamroll through people and barely beat them like under a couple of minutes, because the limbs and stuff of the specific wrestlers are affected so much that once they're favoring like that specific limb, try to sell the damage that they've gotten, it's so much easier just to beat them that way than to straight up pinning them. So with Dean Malenko, that was a quick one. And then, what was it? The United States Championship I actually saved for last. I went with Bret Hart in that game, and so I did sort of the same thing that I did with Dean Malenko. Only thing I did differently, though, was, just did a couple other like different moves, obviously, and just have the sharpshooter instead of the cloverleaf. And what's funny is his front special. Once you get a strong grapple into someone and just flick the control stick, he literally just goes and just slams the opponent onto the ground and just applies the sharpshooter.
Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. But the one that I actually got for the World Heavyweight Championship was Diamond Dallas Page. He was one of the ones that I liked watching wrestle while I was growing up, and he has some of the most abusable specials in the game. Like, yeah, he has a straight up diamond cutter, right? But there are so many different ways you can actually get somebody in a diamond cutter in that game. No, it's like, he's the only one that I know in this entire game where he doesn't have, like, one special, like one variation of his special. No, he has 3 different types of variations for his specials. So, you can do a straight up diamond cutter, you can Irish whip someone onto the rope, he'll toss somebody in the air and do a diamond cutter.
Oh, shit.
Let's see. And the last one is you can actually set somebody in the ring corner, strong grapple in the corner, use your special, and he will literally prop his opponent up the top rope and apply the diamond cutter right there off the top turnbuckle. So yeah, that was a lot of fun to re-experience that. So once I got through all of the championships, I decided to do one last thing, and that was going through the Battle Royal. Now, the special matches things, there's 2 types of special matches. There's Battle Royal and there's Handicap. I went to the Battle Royal mode because there was one thing I used to do as a kid, and I kind of wonder if I could do it still, and that was beat 39 other people with Goldberg, going through, just getting them over the top rope. And I'm glad to say that I did exactly that.
Nice.
Even on normal difficulty. It was hilarious. Quite honestly, if you defeat somebody, like eliminate them over the top rope, it automatically just like goes through, the next person comes in. So if you're playing 4 people and somebody eliminates somebody, there's no wait time. Literally, the next wrestler comes in and it zooms like to the Titantron, you know, the whole freaking ring entrance of them running in. So I kid you not, every couple seconds I was eliminating somebody and another person would be coming in. So what was left was just Goldberg and Hollywood Hulk Hogan, like I had at the beginning. So I basically started out with Goldberg, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Raven, and Kevin Nash, kind of like how the cover art is for the game. So I went through and defeated so many different wrestlers to the point where I just left myself and Hollywood Hogan, and so I did all this random stuff until I finally eliminated him. I had to avoid going anywhere where the other AI characters were at, like in the different ring corners, because here's the thing, the AI has a nasty habit of wanting to try to pull you through the freaking ring ropes and stuff, and it doesn't matter whether or not if you're eliminated over the top rope or pulled underneath, you'll get eliminated regardless. But yeah, that playthrough of WCW NWO Revenge, that was interesting to say the least. First time in years that I played through the game, it was definitely awesome. But like I said, it wasn't the only game that I played. I played a little bit of Hollow Knight on Switch, which that game is actually pretty damn fun. And I've only spent like maybe an hour on it, but I want to go back and play it sometime. The other game that I played was Dead by Daylight on PS4. Yeah, I rebought Dead by Daylight. I got it for like $13 on PSN Flash sale this weekend. Played a little bit, got to level 4. Honestly, to be straight with you about it, it runs better on my PS4 than it does on my friggin' laptop. I kid you not. I hate configuring things on the PC. I hate trying to work like different control styles and different types of like settings. Because quite honestly, even if I have it on normal settings of what the game is required, it still runs like shit on the PC for me. So playing through on the PS4, no control issues, hardly any type of visual, like, things broken. And yeah, I am already at level 4. Level 5, I actually get a good, useful perk. So yeah, here I am talking about Dead by Daylight again, like, months later after I first started playing it. But, no, the last game that I had been playing that I want to talk about, I restarted Bloodborne. On the PS4. And, yeah, I'm repeating the first couple sections of the game itself. I have not beaten any bosses yet, and I'm slowly processing my way through the game. I have a set build that I have in mind. I want to focus on strength and skill, along with vitality and some little bits of endurance here and there. But I gotta at least want to focus on 2 or 3 different slots of, like, increases while I'm leveling up. The thing I forgot is once you level up your character, the blood echoes the enemies drop are a lot they actually decrease every time you go through and start farming them. So it forces you to move to a different area in order to collect more.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's smart though, but at the same time, if you're just starting out and stuff and the enemies are almost as hard as hell, you make a mistake, yeah, you're not going to have a fun time.
True that.
But I would go through the sections. I kept getting killed by these stupid wolves. Literally, I go through the entirety of this village, right? This town square thing. I get to the point where I'm up on this bridge. And near the end of the bridge, there are a couple different enemy types that I face. And two of them happen to be these wolves. These two giant wolves that'll just dart at you if you cross a certain threshold or something. They cross back and forth by left or right and stuff. If you get one of their attention or try to separate them, somehow the other AI wolf will follow it and it will gang beat you. So by tricking them and stuff like that, I was able to get a little bit farther to the point where I finally earned a little bit of insight so I could collect that in order to unlock that doll inside the hunter's dream state and stuff so I can actually start leveling up. That's the other thing about Bloodborne, which I kind of have forgotten about, and I'm kind of upset that it's actually still a thing, where it's once you have a lot of things called insight that you collect, it allows you to level up specific things or become more aware of different things that your character can do. So that's the way you level up in the game. But essentially, you earn insight, you go through this, the hunter state, you encounter this doll or something that'll help you, level up through the blood echoes you collect. And, yeah, I haven't defeated any bosses yet, but I'm slowly making my way through it. But, yeah, other than that, I've picked up a hell of a lot of games for PS4, picked up Owlboy for Switch, which I want to try that one out whenever I can. But, yeah, I'm starting to just, collect a lot of multiplayer games as I'm trying to probably get some people together so I can just experience some more good multiplayer experiences since it's been a hell of a long time. But other than that, that's all I've been playing.
You should check out Fortnite. It's free.
Yeah, I know.
I'll play with you.
I know.
I'll play with you.
All right.
I like Fortnite. Fortnite's cool.
On where? PS4, Switch?
PS4. I can't.
Okay.
We'll get into that later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. About Fortnite and why it has to be on PS4. But I got back into Fortnite again over the last week or so.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I played it a bunch for a month. Not a bunch, probably 10 hours or so over the course of a month. I played a couple games at night or something like that after work, and then I kind of got. I was gonna buy the new because they have the battle passes you can buy.
Yeah.
They're $10. It goes on for 10 weeks. But there's only 2 weeks left in this. So I'm I'll wait 2 weeks to buy the next one.
Right.
So I played that, and they have a new mode. It's five teams of 20.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. The only I like the game, but the only problem is if you really want to get real deep in those games, if you're playing on solo especially, it's just a lot of sitting in a corner waiting until you have to move until the circle gets smaller. And I like the 5 teams of 20 because it's one, you're with people, you're not just by yourself sitting in a corner. You're working together, and it's fun because it's way more rapid, the way, because if people don't know, you're on the map and there's a circle and this giant energy wave where storm comes in every few minutes. The circle you can be in the safe zone gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Mm-hmm. But in this mode, that circle gets shrinks faster than it does in any other game type. So there's the first probably 5-10 minutes of the game is maybe not so much action. You'll see some people here and there, but for the most part, it's all 5 teams are on each corner of the map, and you're all just kind of getting stuff together. And then the game, I think the game only there's a 20-minute time limit. But whoever has the most people left over at the end, if you make it to the end, wins. But that the last probably 10 minutes of the game is just pure chaos. Because you all get put in this little tiny corner, and by that point there's probably at most 30-40 people left, and you're all in this little tiny section fighting it out. People are building forts like crazy. You're just trying to survive. You're trying to pick up stuff. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I actually played a bunch of games with my sister today.
Yeah.
And it's so stupid. We both have headphones, by the way. But she's playing upstairs. I'm playing downstairs, and we're shouting at each other from each other's rooms, like, "Let's go! We gotta go! It's coming!" And I'll be running. It's like, "I'm down. Revive me! I can't. It's coming!" Trying to outrun the storm. I'm like, "It's too late. You're gone." It's so stupid. We have, I don't know why. We just, I was too lazy to get my headphones out. It's just,
I think the most hilarious part about that is like your parents just listening to you two back and forth, like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah. They weren't home. Otherwise they
good.
would have been pissed. But yeah, no, it was just really dumb.
Yeah, they would be pissed.
Yeah, so it was fun to get back into that again. I kind of fell off it for a couple months, but all the hoopla kind of got me back into it a little bit. But the two main things I want to talk about. One came out actually about a month ago now. Holy crap! Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
I talked about it when it first came out. I only played a couple hours of it, and then just didn't really have the time. The problem with that game was, and I said at the time, was like, to really play at least like an hour or two to really invest in. Even though each scene's probably 20, 30 minutes. It's just hard to really get into that game, and it disrupts the flow if you just didn't play a chapter 2 at a time. So I was on vacation last week, so after all the E3 stuff happened, I finally sat down the rest of the week, and I just kind of knocked it out in like 2 more sittings.
Okay.
I don't know how long it is. I want to say 8 to 10 hours probably.
Right.
People don't know there's the 3 stories. You play as androids, each of them, and they've 2 of them become deviant. There's no choice in the matter. Pretty quickly in the story. Kara, yeah, and then Marcus. Kara is the female one that's like living in like a broken home. Like there's like the abusive dad, and then the little girl, and the dad beating the girl in front of her, and she becomes deviant, which means they basically have a mind of their own. They're no longer like a servant. And she saves the girl, and then Marcus is he's like the butler of this older, like really popular and wealthy artist, but he's old, but it's more like a father-son relationship, and his son shows up, and he's got a drug problem, needs money, and they get into like a fight, the dad and the son, and that's when Marcus becomes deviant, and some stuff can happen. There's obviously the way things go when they're are completely different. I didn't know about it actually until I beat the game, and I went and kind of read some things that are different about how all those scenarios can play out, which is really crazy. And then there's the other one. I forgot his name. He's the Detroit police officer, though. He's also a Connor. Connor's his name, and he is a police detective. He's like a kind of like a beta test for the police station. Like they already have like police officer androids, but he's like kind of like an actual like detective. Like he was built specifically by the company that makes the androids. I can't remember the name of them, but they're making him to basically figure out why all these androids are becoming deviant, because it's becoming a huge problem where these androids are becoming deviant and like killing humans, mostly killing their owners, and trying to solve the case and figure out what's causing it all to happen. And so the way it kind of works out is they each have their own different storyline. They all have major goals, obviously, in it. Marcus, in his thing, he wants to become like, it's kind of like equal rights for androids is where his whole thing is going. He finds a bunch of other deviant androids that are having the same cause, and he, in a way, kind of becomes their leader. Kara has Alice, the little girl, and she's just trying to get to Canada, where there's a lot of background stuff you can read. Like you can read magazines. That's really interesting, actually, to kind of see their lore of what's going on. It's in 2038, and like Russia and America are like on the verge of World War III. They're also like a space race going on with trying to get they're using androids to get to Mars. Russia, China, and United States. It's like the new space race, and but like Canada is one of like the few big countries left in the world that doesn't legally allow androids yet, and so Kara's trying to get to Canada where she can become free, and because like they have like these weird little blue circle things on their foreheads, but when they become deviant, some of them rip it out. So now they just look like they're humans, so you can't really tell. And so she's trying to get to Canada. Connor's trying to solve the case. Marcus wants equal rights. And a lot of times, there's actually some cool scenes where like they intertwine together. So like at one point, like this is really early in the game, so it's not really too much of a spoiler. But Kara is Connor is investigating Kara, and you actually in the same scene you play as both characters, and like there's a police chase. So Connor's running away from Connor, and Connor's chasing Kara, and you actually like jump back and forth, playing as these characters trying to get past like this busy intersection or this highway, and you're trying to avoid cars, not get hit or not get killed, and so that's kind of a really cool like way it worked out. I think they might do it one other time, but it's really cool. And I think the way the last couple hours is really well done, with how the story goes. There's I don't know, like there's some cool stuff in it. I have a sour taste at the end of the game because I got to like one of the like the last section is actually like an hour and a half,
Right.
and I got to like the very last like 20 minutes of that section, and it gives you two options you can pick, and it's like probably one of the biggest selections you can make in the game. And I hit the wrong button and selected the wrong option. It wasn't like a time based thing. I just kind of read them, and I hit hit X when I meant to hit circle, and it caused one of my characters to die. And totally like I went back and because like if I wanted to hit that button, if I would hit the other button I wanted to hit, all three would have survived. I went back and I read like everything of what happened at that point for my story, and so that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth. But the only real key issue I've had throughout the game is that so it gives you like whenever you make a decision like or response or ask a question, you get four questions. They pop up. You can pick with X, circle, square, triangle, and the majority of like what the description is or that you're gonna say is one or two words. So it's like they're very vague in what you're gonna say.
All right.
Like TellTale does a decent job where it's at least like a sentence, for the most part. And majority of these are just one or two words, like I said. And so many times I would pick, okay, that's what I want to say, or that's what I want. That's kind of what I'm going for. And then what my character says and what I want him to say are completely different. Like there was this. So Connor has like his partner is a older detective. He used to be like one of the top detectives, and some things happened, and now he's just kind of like a drunk and doesn't care, and he hates androids. Kind of like a stereotypical like almost like buddy cop movie where it's like these two guys this guy hates this person or this type of person, and now they're partners, and now they're going to go on solve a crime together, and then they become best friends. It's like Lethal Weapon 42, and I really wanted him to be like he's one of my favorite characters in the game that's not like the ones you play as. And I was like, I want to make this like a buddy cop kind of thing where like because every character there's like different characters they're around, and like it tells you like the relationship with them. Like it could be like it'll show you when it goes up, when the relationship goes down, and like you could say there's tension or you're friends or lovers or whatever. And every decision I made him mad, but I'm just like I'm picking the answers that I think you would want to hear. But then the answers that but what I select and what he hears or what I say are not at all what I want him to be. So at the end of the game, he hated me. At one point, he actually shot my guy in the head. My Connor died like 4 times, but like he gets put into a new body. Like he doesn't actually die. He just like they destroy that machine. And at one point, he actually killed him. He hated him that much, or shot him and destroyed the robot, and he just got uploaded into a new AI. So overall, I really like this game. I just wish that part was really frustrating. That not really that part, but just that whole part of the game where there was a lot of big decisions I made that if I would have known the selection I picked really meant this, it would have totally I think I would enjoy the game more better if it was a little more descriptive of what it meant. So I beat that. Really like that game. I think you should check it out. I'd say it's after about a week or so of thinking about it. It's probably my favorite of the Quantum Dream games. Is it Quantum Dream? Yeah, Quantum Dream. But moving on. All right. So, but the other game I played just came out yesterday. It's Saturday night as of this recording. I picked up Mario Tennis Aces, and when it first was announced, I remember like, it's whatever, because I just remember the Wii U game, and it was just like everybody hated it, or it was just not hated it, but it was just like a bullshit get a game out there for the Wii U thing.
That's true.
And when I came out, I'm just like, oh man, it's just like essentially support or what it is, and then I started hearing about the story mode, and I'm like, okay, this sounds cool. Now I'm interested in this. There's some single player content to it, and then I played the online. They're a test fire, and I really enjoyed that, playing the tournaments. A lot of fun. So went ahead, picked it up. The big thing I was really looking forward to was single player and all that. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what it was. I knew there was going to be some boss battles in there, but I was all am for it. It's basically like Marvel's Infinity War. Like there's 5 Power Stones, and you have to collect the 5 Power Stones. So apparently in this game, Mario is Thanos, and he's trying to collect all the Power Stones to get and the glove in this case is a racket. That's like a powerful racket. And so there's like I'm assuming there's 5 Power Stones, so I'm assuming there's 5 worlds in this. And the way you travel through the adventure mode it's like an overhead map, kind of like you would see in like Mario World or something like that. And my problem, I'm on the second world, and it's hugely disappointing. Like it seems so easy to make an adventure mode for like a tennis game, especially like a Mario tennis game,
right?
And they have like completely fucked it up. Like,
wait,
so I think I did like 8 or 9 levels. Or 8 or I guess levels. I don't know what the hell you want to call them. And I've actually played 2 true tennis games.
Huh.
And the computer is like brain dead, as far as like on the difficulty level is like very, very easy. Like I could just barely nudge it to the other side of the court, and they won't hit it back.
Huh.
And then like the rest of the games are like dumb mini games, like the PD Piranha, or not the little piranha, not PD Piranha, but the piranhas shoot fireballs at you, and you gotta hit them back, and you gotta hit. There's like 8 of them, and they all spit fireballs at you, and you gotta hit 30 of them in like a 3-minute span.
Right.
And then there's like one mini game where you gotta hit 20. You gotta do a rally, which a rally is basically hitting the ball back and forth X amount of times. So you hit the ball back like 20 times without you missing it. Then there's one where like you go to like the mansion, and then there's a mirror, and you got to figure out the puzzle to like hit these bubbles, and there's like a sound you got to listen to, and you got to figure out the puzzle to this, and it's really dumb and it's easy. And it's not easy. That one took a few tries, but like also like the difficulty level is like way all over the place. Like some of them like I can beat in first try, and there's some that took me 6-7 tries, like in the first world. Like this is insanity. Like, and I don't know. It's not fun. Like I want to play tennis. Like the actual game itself is extremely fun. Like I really like the game. I've been going on like online a lot, which has been really tough because some games it's like perfect. Some games it's they've gotten dropped because of the connection issues. I don't know if that's on their end or if that's the Nintendo thing. I'm hoping it's not Nintendo, since they're gonna be charging me for online here in about 3 months.
Yeah, I know, right?
But it was a huge issue with with their online beta they did about a month ago, where everybody was having connection issues. But yeah, it's just the single player. It's just not fun. I went and read. I'm like, there's a story to it, but it's not really much of a story. And they have some RPG mechanics and the story content, the talk. Like I don't give a fuck. I just want to play the game. So I went ahead and I looked at like all the levels, and like how much like is this worth continuing to deal with all this stuff, because I'm not really having fun with this.
Oh, really?
I want to know how many of these actual matches are like real tennis matches, and there's like 8 of them. Like a third of the actual matches or the levels are actual like real tennis games. So I'm like, well, fuck this. I ain't doing this. Like this is not fun. This is not good. So I went on and I did I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, what do we have here for single player content? Like, because that was my main concern about this game when it was first announced. Like, oh, cool. There's actual like tournaments, like you would like cups, like you would see in like Mario Kart. I'm like, cool. I played through those. I played those. There's only 3 for some reason, and they each go up in difficulty every time. And I beat him in about 45 minutes.
Okay.
So I got all 3 cups. Fairly easy. I think I actually lost like 2 matches, and not matches, sets. I lost 2 sets through all 3 tournaments. Each tournament is 3 different matches you gotta play. But the one thing that's really like, so I did that on, this is all Friday night, by the way. So I did that, and I'm like, oh fuck, like, is this gonna be like ARMS in a way? Like, ARMS is like technically a really cool game. I really like that game. But the problem with it was the single player content. Was like after that first initial weekend, I played the shit out of it for that first weekend. It was great. It was awesome. I remember Justin coming over before we recorded a podcast, and we played a whole bunch of it. He was playing on the Switch on the handheld mode, and I was playing on my TV, having a bunch of fun. We're playing online together, and going back and playing it. See how what difficulty level I can get through on the arcade mode. But after that, it was like there's not really much left to do. Like that was it. There's online, and then there's the arcade mode. I was like, oh fuck, is this all there is? And it's kind of that really is all there is for single player. The one saving grace for me is the tournament modes you can do online. So I've been playing a bunch of that. I've actually been playing simple mode, which is it takes all like the Mario stuff out of it, like all like the power shots and the building up your energy bar and all that, and it's just like the simple mode is just real tennis.
Okay.
And it's really great. Like I really like this mode. My real one complaint about it is like it plays through like the demo did, where it's like you don't actually just play, like there's not just like 32 people playing all at the same time in one tournament. It's like you play somebody else that's looking for a first round tournament, you play them. And then, I beat that guy, I'm on the second round. You find somebody else who's also playing in the tournament. That's also in the second round, you play that guy. But the problem is, and you earn points based off winning serves and matches and stuff like that and getting deeper in the tournament. The big issue is that the like finding people to play with is they don't really do a good job of like separating out newbies and people that like are playing it. Like I legitimately played a guy, like I played 3 matches and I won. I played 3 tournaments. I won the first round all 3 times, and I lost the second round all 3 times. So this is my 4th tournament, and I have 90-something points. I play this guy, so now I'm in the second round of my 4th tournament. I play this guy with over 5,000 points. Mm-hmm. This game's been out for a day at that. This was this morning. This game's been out for 24 hours, and he's already got 5,000 points. I don't know how many games you have to play to get that. I'm guessing it's got to be about 100 or more easily to get to that point. See, the fact that I played 6 games or 7 games at that point, and I had 90-something points. And he just smoked me. It wasn't even funny. I think I won a serve. Not a set.
This is serve.
Nothing. Just a serve. I got 1. I got 15 love at one point, and I'm just like, cool. That's a victory for me in this game. It was a massacre. But then I played other like first round games where I just like I smoked that person fairly easily. I played one game actually just before we hopped on. I played a guy, and this is the first round, and it was like a 15-minute game. It just went back and forth, and like he beat me on the first one, no problem. And then I figured out kind of his strategy, and I beat him in the next one. And then the third match was just like us going back and forth, trying to, like we both kind of figured out what each other are doing. And it was just kind of at that point, just like, all right, we got to think of something new. And I ended up beating him on that one, and that was really cool. That was like legit one of the best, like most fun competitive games I've had in like a long time. It felt like evenly matched. It wasn't like a massacre on any side. And that was great. But that was the first round. But then I went to the next round, and same thing. Got destroyed. Every time I get to the second round, I just get my ass whooped by somebody with a few hundred points to thousands of points. And that's, I don't know. It's like, I really like the game. I just wish there was more stuff to do in this game. It's just like exactly how I felt about ARMS and how I did a lot about Splatoon 2, or Splatoon 1 even. Where it's like, I really like the game, like the online port. I really like the game. I just wish there was more options for us to do. So yeah, I don't know if I can. I don't know if it's like a buy or what. Like, if you're a person that's going to be playing a lot of online for this game, definitely pick it up. It's a really fun online game. But if you're someone that doesn't really do a whole lot of online stuff, or you're playing this more as like taking this to work, or you're taking this on trips or something like that, the adventure mode is not fun if you want to play tennis. If you want to do some of the goofy mini game stuff, that's fine. And then there might be some cool stuff in there for you. But they repeat a lot of them, as far as I can tell. When you do actually play tennis, it's the worst. It's arguably worse than the mini games are, because it's just so uncompetitive on the computer's end. So I don't know. It's a weird one where, like, only really Nintendo, I feel like, ever gives these to me, where it's like, technically the game is great, but just the content is a huge issue there. So that's what I'm playing. Detroit Become Human, really awesome. Pick that game up at Mario Tennis Aces, just based off of what you want to do. But let's go ahead and move on to some of the topics. Like I said, some of the stuff is things that kind of got buried during E3, and some of the things are just kind of notes that came out after the fact of E3. We're going to start with the big one. This kind of all happened right about the end. It kind of picked up Tuesday afternoon after Nintendo's Direct for E3, announcing Fortnite coming to E3. Came to E3, or not coming to E3, but coming to the Switch. It came to the Switch that day. And really, by that time, it just started like picking up steam when we recorded that night. And I remember mentioning it, but it wasn't really much of a thing. Was with if you have your Epic account you make for Fortnite. Epic's people that make Fortnite, and if you ever tied your Epic account to your PS4, then you cannot take that account to any other to Xbox or Nintendo. So meaning that any progression or money you spent on that Epic account on PS4, you cannot take it anywhere to any of their consoles. Wow. You can take it to PC, you can take it to mobile, but you cannot take it to the Nintendo Switch. So a lot of people want to go sign into the Switch, and this alert came up. I'm gonna pull up the website real quick. The article I had here. I had it on here somewhere. Maybe it did not. But basically, there was a pop-up come up saying that you cannot. This account is tied to another console, and it was like Epic. It even said Epic knows there's nothing Epic can do about it. Basically, like saying like, "Hey, this is not on us." So there's a huge backlash. People were pissed at Sony, because if you had your Epic account and you played it on Xbox, Nintendo, PC, or mobile, you can take your progression, everything, onto all four of those systems. So you can play on your mobile at, like, you go to work, play it on mobile, and then go home, play on your Xbox. Everything you did on your mobile phone will cross over to your Xbox. All the leveling up, all the gear, all the money you spent crosses over everything. Sony's, you can't. Also with those, you can cross-play on all four of those: Xbox, Nintendo, PC, mobile. You can all cross-play each other. On Sony's end, you can only cross-play with, I think it's PC and mobile. So a lot of people were pissed to find that out. So Sony finally came back with a response to it. So this is from the article. I got this from the Variety article. But what they said was, we're always open to hearing what the PlayStation community is interested into enhance their gaming experience. The company said, and this is the statement to BBC, with more than 80 million monthly active users on PlayStation Network, we build a huge community of gamers who can play together on Fortnite and all online titles. We also offer Fortnite crossplay support with PC, Mac, iOS, and Android devices, expanding the opportunity for Fortnite fans on PS4 to play with even more gamers on other platforms. So pretty much ignored the entire issue. That had nothing to do with anything. Like, hey, that's cool. It really just felt like a brag. Like, hey, we've got over 80 million users. We have lapped Xbox One almost 3 times. Nintendo Switch is big and it's coming, but it's not even on our radar right now. So it's like a big F you to us. It really is what it feels like. It feels like a real big F you to you guys. Like the people that really want.
True. That's very true. But what I did like was a few days later after, maybe not even a few days later after Sony made that statement, on Twitter, I saw what was a little little image or something like that. Actually, a little miniature YouTube video that was uploaded by Nintendo of America. And with it, there was the introduction for, like, say, Minecraft or whatsoever.
Yes. Yep.
Where it basically said share anywhere, play anywhere, and it was a silhouette with, like, 2 different, like split screen things, one for the Xbox and one for Nintendo. Whereas they play together, share together, create together. It advertised it. It pretty much gave an entire FU to the Sony's response. Say, hey, you can actually play together, blah, blah, blah. But the most hilarious thing that come out of that was I saw an image of somebody screenshotting their Xbox Live friends list, and on it was Larry Herb, the dude for Xbox, and he was playing Minecraft, and it literally just said, on the Nintendo Switch.
Yep. And he posted a picture on his Twitter account, Larry Herb did, saying, I just unlocked an achievement on Minecraft on my Switch. It's like, that's a big thing that's happened recently, where, like, you play Minecraft on your Switch, you get achievement points now for your Xbox account.
That
you
is awesome.
Yeah, and that was a great. I forgot. I was going to mention that. I forgot about to do that though. But yeah, that just happened in the last couple of days where there's a big Minecraft update coming to the Switch with, like, some new, like, costumes or something that you can buy, or they come for free. I'm not sure, for, like, Mario and stuff.
I wonder if you can actually, like, log in with your Microsoft account, like, on that game then.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Well, Gables just bought Minecraft on the Switch. So it was a really cool thing. It had, like, on one side of the video it showed Xbox green, and then on the right side it showed Nintendo red, and it said "Survive Together." And it was just, and they even went on Twitter, and Nintendo, like, sent a thing on Nintendo's Twitter account, sent a thing to Xbox Twitter account, like, hey, you want to do something? Like, you want to do some stuff together? And it was like, and they're like, yeah, let's do stuff. And it's like Bill Trennan's playing the Switch on Twitter, like, he's posting on Twitter, or he's playing Minecraft, I think, on there. Larry Herb, like I said, talking about Minecraft on the Switch. Like, a really cool thing they're doing, and it's like just throwing shade at PlayStation very hard.
And it worked.
Yeah,
and on a major level.
I feel like I get the part where they don't want to crossplay. Like, Xbox, they don't want to do it last generation when they were destroying PlayStation. PlayStation want to do it this generation, even though everybody else is doing it now. Like, last generation, nobody was cross-playing. Or if there were, it was like 1 or 2 games. Now it's like everybody's cross-playing. Like, this is a big. Yep. Remember, this is the issue this time last year with Rocket League. About, like, when the Rocket League came out for the Switch, you could play Switch versus Xbox and all that. And here we are a year later, but it's even worse this time, where it's like Fortnite is the biggest thing happening in the world right now. Not just video games. Like, this is taken over, like, everything. This is like everybody knows what. Like, everybody sees the videos online of, like, kids doing the Fortnite dance. We all know that's the Fortnite dance. Everybody knows what that is. Moms, kids, grandpas, grandmas, whatever, you name it. Everybody knows what those are. Like, you see that stupid little dance. Dumb dance, I can't do the dance, but you see it and you know what it is. You hear about athletes talking about it all the time in interviews, talking about Fortnite. Reporters are asking athletes questions during the NBA Finals about Fortnite. You know, so it's this is part of pop culture right now.
Yep.
This is much bigger than, like, what Rocket League. Like, Rocket League was a really cool thing for gamers, and it kind of, you know, and obviously it spread out to more, but it didn't make the impression that Fortnite has. And Fortnite has taken over. This has been going on for almost a year now. This isn't just like a, like, run-of-the-mill thing where it's here and it's gone in a week. Like, this is huge. It's like PUBG was, like, this is what PUBG, what we all thought it could be a year ago.
Yep.
And the fact that you're taking one of the biggest things in entertainment right now and kind of holding it and, like, like, no, we're not going to share. Like, I don't. You don't want to do crossplay, that's fine. They don't have to do that. But I think that holding the account hostage is just bullshit.
It is.
And it just feels petty. In that response, like, hey, we have over 80 million active users, and you can share with the PC, Mac, and iOS, and Android devices. It just feels like that exactly what I said earlier, where it's just like, hey, we're winning. We can just kind of do what the fuck we want. Coming out of it, like I like Fortnite. I talked about. I got back into it, and when going on this, like, I actually went and downloaded it on the Switch, and I'm like, oh, like that day when it happened, and then I heard about all that shit, and like I like, oh, I really want to play on my Switch. That'd be cool to play. I don't know why. Like, it runs better and it looks better, and there's more people to play with on the PS4. But it's like, it'd be cool, like, to play on the Switch, just check it out. And it's like that. It's like, it just kind of killed the interest for me on the Switch right now. But man, I don't know. It's just, this feels like PlayStation's been riding a high since E3 2013.
Yes, they have.
Well, it feels like they can do nothing wrong. They've had great first parties that came out. People were chanting Sony at E3 2013 with the you can trade your games in, you can buy used games. It's $400. Like, they were handed this on a silver platter, and they took it, and they've been killing it for 5 years.
Yep.
They've had a few things here and there with, like, the PlayStation Now, but that wasn't really like a bad thing. It was just kind of like, you could do it better, but it's not a bad thing. We've talked about how before, like, Xbox in the last few years has done everything right for consumers. They've been super consumer friendly for a few years now, with, like, the backwards compatibility stuff. Games Pass for every first party game is now on Games Pass. They've been killing it, and this feels like the first real blunder of the generation for PlayStation, and it's a huge one.
Oh, it's a huge one that could potentially come back to haunt them come the next generation of games stuff.
Yeah, and it's so crazy to me. Like, I've talked about this before, about every generation. It feels like whoever won that last generation goes into the next one feeling like all we gotta do is just show up and we win. And every generation, it doesn't happen.
Nope.
I might left my phone on. Oops. But you sit there and like, you just go back to, like, with Super Nintendo to 64. Nintendo, like, we keep doing cartridges, even though discs are cheaper and bigger, but we make more money off cartridges, and people just keep flocking to us because there's no real competition right now. And then PlayStation came out and fucking took it over. And then I guess really actually PlayStation 1 to 2 was, like, really the last time, because PS2 showed up and dominated that one, highest selling console of all time. But then you go into the next one, PS2 to the PS3. They showed up, hey, $600. It's a Blu-ray player, guys. We don't know if Blu-ray's a thing yet, really, or if it even matters. They thought they can just do that, and it didn't work. Then you look at kind of the Wii came out, like the Wii U. Obviously didn't work. Xbox 360 to Xbox One didn't work. And here we are. We're possibly 2 years out from the new generation.
Yep.
Xbox is... we'll get to... I guess we can seamlessly segue, even though I pointed out, to the next topic. But, like, Xbox announced at E3 that they're officially working on their next console. Yeah. The code name for it right now is Scarlet, and it's described as a family devices, and they're wanting to release it in November 2020.
And they specifically said consoles.
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those different types of variety of family of systems, potentially. Yes.
Yeah, that's no clue what the hell that means. Is that like a Switch type of thing, or is this like handheld? They finally do the handheld. But this is what I'm saying. Like, going in, like, Xbox, like, to me, like, the more I thought about E3 for Microsoft, it was a really good conference. I liked that conference quite a bit. And mostly not for, like, the short-term stuff, but the long-term. And I said it when they announced those 5 companies they bought. Is like, when they announced the new consoles coming, and they announced all these new companies they bought, and, like, all these games are coming to them, or, like, they showed up Halo Infinite and all that. It's like, they basically succeeded this generation. Even though it was already over. It was over a couple years ago. It was basically over E3 2013 with their press conference and the way they handled that. They gave it away. when all they had to do was show up and they would have won. But if it's like they're going in with like all of like super consumer friendly, everybody like outside of like the first party stuff, like they're killing it and everything.
Yep.
And now they got all these great companies that they own now, making potentially really great games. And then also they have their Gears and they have Halo games coming in the pipeline. They have 3 Gears games coming in the pipeline. It's just like PlayStation is handing over next generation on a civil platter right now. I'm looking at like next generation might be pretty awesome. Like Xbox might have their shit together with some really great first party games. Might be a few years down the line. Might be 2021, 2022. But then you got Gears 5 coming. You got Halo Infinite coming. Like they got some good stuff coming. And then you got PlayStation. They keep fucking knocking out of the park with all these great first party games. And then you got the Switch out there too, doing its thing. Like next generation might be fantastic. Now I'm actually really excited about the future of. I mean, I'm not super ready for the new generation of consoles, but I'm thinking about like all of the game, like everything they've done over the last few years, Microsoft has, and all the stuff that PlayStation's done, except for this Fortnite thing. It's bullshit. But it's like 2020s could be some of the best, might be the best decade in gaming ever. Like we talk about last year being one of the best years of all time, we might just get a whole decade of that. You know what I mean? That's how I'm thinking right now.
Possibility.
Because they both figured out like, and we've all known this forever, and we always forget this. Like we go into it, it's like they kind of like, hey, what do you got? What's gonna make us buy your new console? And it was like, what's the cool thing you got? What's your gimmick? You know? And we always forget, like idiots, it's the games. Yep. It's always the games. And here, you know, I don't know. I'm still not ready, you know, like I said, for the new console. We talked about it a little while ago, or about a month ago, when there was talk of the PlayStation 5 possibly being 2020 or 2021.
Yeah.
And I feel the same. I don't want new consoles. I feel like there's still a lot to do. I still feel like we've only a couple of years into this new one. Really, the last 2 years, we've really hit the stride for the new consoles. I get not so much new; they're 5 years old.
Honestly, if these new consoles come out sometime soon, they gotta have a launch library or a launch selection of games that almost would convince me to try to get the thing day one, kind of like how the Switch is done. Because in my honest opinion, the Nintendo Switch has the best launch titles available on day one, or in that same month and stuff, that competes and is probably better than a lot of what previous consoles have done before. So it's got to be something that's got to appeal in terms of various quality and quantity that would convince me to buy a new system like that day one. You know, whether it be PlayStation or whether it be Xbox or something like that. Don't care who, just want to get some great games.
Yeah, I mean that's something I talked about before the Switch came out. Was like, I don't want to hear about the launch lineup. I want to hear about that launch window. I want to know what we got going on the first 6 months. And that was the big issue we've talked about before. With pretty much, it's an issue with every console ever. It's really up to the Switch, but like that was the issue with this generation, was like we had everybody has that one big showpiece game at launch, and then there was nothing for 6 months. And that was the issue with this generation with PS4 and Xbox One. And then the Switch came out, and it's like, hey, and they had the luxury of all these great Wii U games that no one played that they can port over, and that's what's keeping them going for the first year plus. But just like, you got Zelda at launch, one of the greatest games of all time. Yeah. And you got Mario Kart 6 weeks later, one of the best racing games of all time. Then you had ARMS in June, a brand new franchise. July, Splatoon 2. Then we had in October we had Super Mario Odyssey, 2 of the greatest games of all time in the first 6 months of the console. Yep. I don't know. I'm not like expecting anybody else to do that or anybody ever do that again, even Nintendo. But just have something like that. Don't like give me 27 great games on day one. I want that's the big thing. Is like, what do you got for me this first 6 months? Like, I'm gonna buy your console in November. What do you got for me in January? Yeah, what do you got for me in March? Like, I don't want to. That was. I remember that's all we talked about when that came out. Was like every week we come on here. It's just like, there ain't fuck all to play, guys. Like, it ain't nothing. Like Outlast was like a thing that held us over for like a month.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was like, it was like, games that came out on the 360 and PS3, and then Outlast. That was all we had till like March. But yeah, I don't know. It's just what a crazy. It's funny, like the new consoles are a couple years away, but this week right here, this past week, could be huge for the future for the next generation. It's kind of that first, I guess, chink in the armor for PlayStation. I still think that they're gonna give eventually, not on crossplay, but I think they'll eventually. Like, all right, you guys can take your console, you can take your account over to the Nintendo and Xbox, or even just give us Nintendo, at the very least. But yeah, I feel like that's just a matter of time. I'm just shocked. It's been a week and a half, and we're still like that statement came out, I think, like last Saturday, and here we are 8 days later, 9 days later, and nothing. Silence. But moving on. Speaking of Nintendo, I want to mention this because it's something I brought up at the E3 when we talked about the Nintendo Direct from E3 about Super Mario Party. It's coming out, I think, October 5th.
Yeah.
But one of the things I said was, like, this needs to have online. Like, this is gonna be the first party game to come out after, as far as we know, unless something else comes out. This is gonna be the first party game that comes out to the Switch after the online service is launched.
Right.
That comes out in September. This comes out October 5th. So some good news. There is an online mode. It's called Mariothon. And basically what it is up to 5 players can play in 5 random mini games, and the person with the best score wins. That's all the details we have right now. Don't know how many mini games there's going to be in this game, but it's not what I wanted. It feels like going off that trailer, and like I went back and I watched it again a couple times, and it's going. It seems like it's going back on the right track, where it feels like Mario Party lost its way. I feel like over a decade ago.
Yep.
I feel like it hasn't been really good since like Mario Party 4, and 5 and 6 were okay, and then after that it's just been garbage. Especially the one on the Wii U, that was fucking trash with Bowser. You're all riding in a car together. That sucked. I don't know why anybody thought that was good, or thought that'd be a good idea. But I was hoping, like, I was just like thinking, I'm like, that'd be sweet if like Justin and Gables and I and somebody else, like, we just like, you guys want to play some Mario Party, and just like we're all playing Mario Party online. Like, that's been my dream since I got Mario Party 4 on GameCube when I was a kid. Like, I remember. Like, it's mostly nostalgia, I'll admit. But I remember going over to like the Justin's house, and like we play 60 round. I would say play a game of 60 turns. It felt like it'd take like all night. And we do that with like it'd be him and his brother and like our other friends or something like that. We're all playing. And it's just like we go home like, man, I want to keep playing, but it's like I gotta go to sleep, or I gotta go home. It's late, guys. And it's just like this. It just kind of, I don't know. I guess I was hoping this would like bring back that nostalgia of that game, and it's not, like I said, it's not exactly what I wanted, but it's a start. If we get another Mario Party, hopefully that's the true. Maybe I'm hoping this is like what Pokemon Let's Go is. Like, hey, it's a Pokemon game, but the real one comes out next year. I'm hoping that's what this is for Mario Party. What about you, Gables?
Well, yeah, I'm kind of hopefully like wishing that's sort of the same thing that's happened in Mario Party. I mean, it's kind of disappointing where it's only just like one section that's going to be the online stuff. At the same point, I kind of wish it was sort of more aligned to say how Mario Party 3 or Mario Party 2 would be in terms of, like, say, multiplayer-wise, just have that type of thing online where it's like you got a set board, you got like a couple different characters you can choose from, just have like a bunch of 20, 30, or like 60 turn things if you wanted to, and then just do a lot of like mini games after like everybody has their turn on the board. It's just something simple that I would just like for this Mario Party game to be, or a future Mario Party game. But it's kind of disappointing how they're just limiting it to like just like the mini games, certain things, for this Switch version. That's what I think anyway.
Still could be fun. They have some great ones. And real quick, going back to Mario Party or Mario Tennis Aces, Waluigi might be my new favorite Nintendo character. This wasn't because of the whole E3 thing about me being upset about Waluigi not being it. This goes back to about a month ago when I got online, started playing the online mode with Mario Tennis Aces, and I unlocked Waluigi. It's like, do I want to be Mario, Peach, Bowser, or Waluigi? I'm like, I'll try Waluigi. He's a fucking beast, man.
Dude,
Let me tell you,
here's something.
Go ahead.
Back when I used to play Mario Kart, my Mario Golf like Toadstool Tour on GameCube, Waluigi was my favorite character. Why?
Good.
Because whenever he would score like a birdie or whatever, so he would do like freaking like juke and jive moves like Michael Jackson, and that's why I kind of like. That's why I would probably just like drift a little bit. Show, oh, okay, Waluigi, I'm gonna play as him.
I actually had an online mode game earlier where we were both Waluigi, and every time we hit the ball, wham, wham. So it was just like wham, 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 wham. It was pretty great. I got a good laugh out of that one. I won that one.
Nice.
But yeah, he's pretty sweet. I've been a Luigi guy for like 20 years.
Yeah.
I want to point that out. He's been my boy. Waluigi might be better. Now let's just get him on fucking Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Move over Greninja. Waluigi's my new main.
Nah.
That happens. But yeah. Moving on to something else. TellTale. This is kind of a crazy announcement. They have partnered with Netflix of all people, and they are bringing the Minecraft story mode to Netflix.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, so I'm assuming. I'm wondering how if you play that on your PS4, like your Xbox, like do you just use your controller for that? Like do you play like normally, and then like it shouldn't be too hard to play, I guess. Like if you do it on like a smart TV, where you just or like a PC where you just use a keyboard, or a smart TV you just use your remote. It's not really like a super, just mostly pick options. And I'm sure you can just walk around fairly easily. But out of that, they also announced that there is the next big thing they're going to do is a Stranger Things as the next TellTale series.
Ooh.
So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's interesting. I guess TellTale's been going through a lot of issues lately. They laid off like half their workforce late last year. They brought in a lot of new management. They're currently being sued by their old CEO and former co-founder. So the last year and a half has been pretty rough for them, and it seems like the last year's been pretty good for them, but the year and a half before that has been really rough. Apparently, they're going to finally get a new engine after Walking Dead season's over. First episode comes out August 14th. I'm really excited about that. Already pre-ordered it. But after that game is over, they're going to be in a new engine, a whole new engine. Like that's why a bunch of their stuff got delayed, and possibly the game after that and their partner deal with Netflix is they might do a Black Mirror season.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously, I'm someone that really likes TellTale. I play all their games. I really like Stranger Things. It's a phenomenal series. So the more the better, and I guess more people can check it out. I think that's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool crossover we're doing here with Netflix, the biggest streaming service in the world, and doing something with Minecraft, one of the biggest IPs in gaming right now. It was Fortnite before Fortnite came around. So yeah. But moving on to the very last topic of the day. It is one of my favorite things every month. MPDs, buddy.
All right. So these are the MPDs, the top 20 selling games for the month of May. I always start from number 1 for some reason. I'm going to start from number 20 this time. We're going to build suspense. So number 20 is Monster Hunter World. Number 19 is Assassin's Creed Origins. Number 18 is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Number 17, Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. 16 is Overwatch. 15, FIFA 18. 14, Breath of the Wild. 13, Mario Odyssey. 12, Call of Duty WW2. 11 is MLB 18 The Show. 10 is NBA 2K18. 9, Mario Kart 8. 8, Rainbow Six Siege. 7, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. 6, GTA 5. 5, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. 4, Far Cry 5. 3, Detroit Become Human. 2, God of War 2018. And number 1, surprisingly, State of Decay 2. Huh. Honestly,
Yeah.
out of that entire list, I think like State of Decay 2 actually impresses me the most. That was a number 1 seller for NPD. An Xbox freaking exclusive. You know?
I think they said it's the first time a Xbox first party title has, or exclusive title has been number one on the NPD since Halo 5 came out, which was like 2015.
Dude, that is big for Microsoft right there. That's actually a pretty good victory for them in terms of like sales wise for that game. Let alone like the thing was pretty much a part of the Game Pass stuff day one. Let's see, the other surprises on that NPD list. Well, obviously besides like all the Switch games and stuff still remaining strong, like that trinity of like games, with Mario Kart 8, Mario Odyssey, and Breath of the Wild. I'm not sure when those 3 games will be disappearing off that list.
Yeah, there's 5 Switch games on the in the top 14.
Yeah, you got like a chunk of them like just routinely appearing on the NPD lists since like their launch. And the Switch has been out for a little over a year, and they already got 5 games for that damn system that are like million sellers, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty close to.
I think this marks 14 straight months that Mario Kart 8's been in the top 10.
Wow.
Yeah. So since it came out, it's been in the top 10 every month.
Jeez.
Yeah. I think, like you said, you kind of hit the nail on the head there with State of Decay 2. That it came out, I think, I want to say like the 22nd. So it only had a little over a week in the month. And also the Game Pass thing. But I guess it has a luxury, but it's only like a $20 game. So it's not not really a luxury, but it's a $20 game. But at the same time, it's only a $20 game. So typically you don't see those kind of games. Like most of the games you see on here, I think outside of Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, and I guess PlayerUnknown Battleground, but that's it's a big thing among itself. That's the only non-$60 game, like first party, or not first party, but big AAA game that's on this list.
Well, it's also kind of a little bit of a surprise too. It's like the reemergence of Rainbow Six Siege. That game it went through a tumultuous like launch period and stuff, where that game was pretty much like dead for a while and stuff, up until the developers like pretty much revamped almost the entirety of that structure of that game, and now it's kind of gotten its second wind in terms of like success, in terms of like people wanting to play it, interest enough to where it's like now it's back on the NPD like sales list stuff, and it's been consistently there. What was it like? Maybe now for the past couple months or something.
It's been on. I don't know if it's been in the top 20. I feel like every month since it probably came out. But yeah, like I said, when it first came out, it was like dead on arrival. It came out. I think it came out like December, like 2015. It just kind of dropped, and it was just like felt like it was like I said, dead when it came out, and then we're in the middle of its 3rd year on the market, and it's still one of the most popular games out there. Obviously, with
that's
that,
very true. I mean, the same could be say a little bit about The Division as well, where it's like that was also sort of a dead on arrival game, but people are picking that back up because of like new content that's and like new improvements and structure stuff as well. But otherwise,
I even actually picked up Division and started playing it again, or playing it for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Dipping into they made some big changes, I guess, a couple months ago for like its 2-year anniversary, until they revamped this how the game flows. I'm checking. I'm like put too much into it.
Right.
Not enough to really talk about too much, but it's just really the only thing with more longevity than Rainbow Six Siege is GTA 5.
Yep.
Which I'm curious what 6 months about this time next year, where is it going to be after after Red Dead Redemption 2 has been on the market for a good chunk of a year.
Good point, because that game has been on the NPD lists now for like almost 5 years.
Yeah, it's the highest selling game of all time.
Yep.
I guess I don't know if I mentioned this before, but what's funny, I guess, is what a lot of people are doing. The reason why I think it seems like a lot of people are saying this might be it's always in the top. It's always in the NPD. It's always in the top 10. I think the lowest it's dipped is like 8 or 9.
Right.
But they have like the in-game currency you can buy. Like you buy like shark cards.
Yep.
And when you buy the GTA 5, you get like it's like $100 in shark cards for the online stuff. So people are like, instead of going out and buying shark cards, they're just buying another copy of the game.
Oh no!
Because it's cheaper than just buying the shark cards, and then they sell the game.
Oh my god! I wonder if that's what's going on.
Yeah, because you always see deals on like the PlayStation Store all the time. It's like the game's always on sale. Yep. But it's always on sale, and it has like bundled with $100 in shark cards or $50 in shark cards for buy the game for $40 and you get $50 for online, stuff like that. So that That's what I'm wondering if that's a lot of it. I'd be curious to see. I'd love it. I know this can never happen, but I want to know how many people are just rebuying the game over and over again for that very reason. I think it'd be really funny if we saw the numbers and it just came out like a third of the games. I'm not trying to like knock it in any way. I know it's a great game. People love it. I just want to know like how many of those people are really buying this. Like I can't fathom how this is always one of the best selling games every month.
I know, right?
5 years later, it's got to be selling like, it's selling millions of copies every month.
Yeah.
Millions, at least 1 million. Because we know like Hyrule Warriors sold about 1 million last month on the Switch, and it's ahead of that game. So it's high. I want to see the numbers. But I don't know. It's cool to see. Like I said, like you were talking about, 5 games from the Switch in the top 14. Tropical Freeze being in the top 5 for the second month on the market, or first month on the market. Hyrule Warriors number 7. Love to see that. Totally underrated game. It was really cool to see all these really unrated Wii U games. Not really underrated, but overlooked games because they're on the Wii U. Get their time to shine.
I know. There's like 3
on the Switch.
of them on the freaking MPD list here that were Wii U titles, but it's like they got a big resurgence in the Switch because, well, hell, they're great games in their own right.
Yeah, they're great games, and then people get to finally recognize they're great games. So yeah, it's really the top 4 or 5, not really a big surprise, because April and May were pretty good months for gaming. You got State of K2, God of War, Detroit, Far Cry 5, Duncan, Tropical Freeze. All those games came out. I think Far Cry 5 came out in like late March. So all these games came out in the last couple months. So yeah, it's cool to see all that. But yeah, I don't know. Really cool, really good month. Great. It's probably one of the strangest months I've seen since it came out. With outside of Battlefront 2 falling off in like a couple months, and within like the second month, it was already like barely in the top 20, and now it's completely out of the top 20. State of K2 being number 1 is probably the biggest surprise of this since, I don't know, 8 or 9 months we've been doing this. But I think it's gonna wrap up the show, Gables. It was great to be back, guys. It was nice to have a little break away from the show. After, not really much of a break, but we got a little more time away because we did we did 2+ months of recording in one weekend. But having that nice little 10-day stretch of not having to record, not have to worry about putting a show together, was great. Also, my liver really appreciated it. But it's great to be back, Gables. I miss talking to you about gaming.
Oh,
yeah. I'm glad you guys. Hopefully, you guys listen to us still. Because it seems like we had a lot of new listeners out there over E3. Hopefully, you guys stuck around. But thank you guys so much for listening. I was your host, Tyler. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm a little out here, guys. There's a whole rigmarole I gotta do before we get out of here. I'm sorry. Woo, buddy. If you want to hear more from us, we have a Facebook page and group. It's Drunk Dash Nerds on there. Like and join us. Twitter @Drunk Nerds Pod. Follow us on there. Twitch Drunk Nerds Podcast. Follow us on there as well. And then on YouTube, Drunk Dash Nerds. Subscribe to us on there. Podcast goes up on there. Give us a big thumbs up. Leave us a comment, please. And also on iTunes, Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. Subscribe to us in there. Leave us a 5-star review. I think those are all the places we're on. So once again, guys, thank you for listening. And once again, I was your host, Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, I hope you have yourself a good week. I hope you play yourself a bunch of great games. And above all else, I hope you spend the time, kick back, and enjoy yourself a good episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. Peace.
Hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet.
Bye.
See ya.